How you doing? Eric here from Chaparral Motorsports. Today I'm going to show you how to clean up your Harley-Davidson handlebars by running the electrical leads from your switch housings internally in the bars. Now when it comes to the electrical leads and your handlebars, you'll find a couple of different styles of handlebars. The stock bars come dimpled like we have here, which is a recessed area just behind the switch control housings on the underside. And what that'll allow you to do is run the electrical leads flush with the bar and along the side on the outside of the bar. The other option you have is a drilled handlebar like this, which has a hole at either end and an oval hole at the center, which allows you to run the electrical leads internally and out through the center. A third option you might come across is where they're just completely blank. There's no holes, there's no dimples, there's nothing. So that leaves you the option to go back and drill the holes if you want. If you do have a stock set of handlebars that are dimpled or swedged, as it's sometimes called, you can go ahead and drill them, one hole here, and an oval hole in the center, and clean up your bike by running your lines in internally, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a stock set of Harley-Davidson buckhorn bars. You'll find these on many different Harley models. These holes here, what you see, these are holes that come from the factory, and they're used to hold the plastic cable wraps when you run the wires externally. We're going to run the wires internally, and we're going to do that by drilling a hole here, and then we're going to drill an oval hole here, and we can run the wire and pull it out through the center. Now there's a couple ways you can do it. You can use a step drill to drill out a hole here and then open this area up with two more holes here, or you can use an 1/8 inch pilot hole here and then open it up with a drill bit the size of your wire looming. Then this next step is very important to avoid any electrical shorts. You want to go back to all your holes and use a file to deburr all the holes and make sure there's no sharp edges so that when you pull the lines through, you don't get any cuts or nicks that would, like I say, lead to any electrical shorts that you have to go back and fix later on. Okay, so we've got all our holes drilled and deburred. The next thing to do is run our pull line through. Now I've seen people do this a bunch of different ways. I like to use a piece of string with a nut tied onto it to give it a little bit of weight. That way it can fall through real easily. I've seen people use an air compressor and blow the string through, a vacuum cleaner and suck it through. There's all kinds of different ways people do it. People even use real thin wire, but I just like to drop the nut in there and let just gravity take its course. So as you may notice, this is not a wiring lead for the hand controls on a Harley. I found this laying around the shop, but it is very similar with the Deutsch connector, and the wire sizing is very similar as well to a Harley strand. So that's what I wanted to show you is how to remove the Deutsch connector. Now, before you get to removing the Deutsch connector, you want to make sure your Harley would probably be a 6-pin, depending on what model you have. So on the back side, they're all numbered, so you want to make sure you mark down the numbers that correspond to the colored wires so that you have that, so when you go back to put everything back together, you know where the wires go. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to remove the orange wedge lock with a set of needle nose pliers. Just grab it, pull it out like that. Then use a small flat blade screwdriver to lift up the tangs that are holding the wire leads in place. Lift up the tang and pull the wire one at a time is easiest. There's one. And there's two, just like that. It's that easy. Okay, now at this point, there's a couple options you can do, and it kind of varies depending on what kind of bars you have, how tight the bends are. But what you want to do is you can either take off the stock vinyl wrapping on your wires, which will make it easier to sweep through the bends. So if you got really hard angle or tight bends, take those wrapping off so you just have the wires. And then when you get the wires through, you can use some shrink tube or this nylon expandable cable wrap to hug the wires and keep them back and keep them protected around your openings here. So our bends are pretty easy. So basically we're going to go ahead and use this vinyl wrapping, and then we're going to fish it through. We're going to tape the string to the end here, and we'll pull it all through. So once you get your pull line through, you're going to take the top of the line up at the top hole. You're going to tape it to your electrical lead. We're going to use some electrical tape. Just tape the two together real good. Make sure it's nice and tight so the pull line doesn't come off. You don't want to get it too bulky so that it won't pull through easily. Just like that. Okay, then it's a combination of pushing the electrical leads from the top and pulling the string from the bottom. It's usually easier if you have a second person to hold the handlebars while you pull, or you can set the handlebars in a vise so they hold them steady. But it should pull pretty easily and come out just like that. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, before you pull your lines through your handlebars, you should use a short piece of shrink tubing, because your hand control housing is still going to be connected up at the top. Run the tubing all the way up to the underside of the hand control housing, so that once you get the wires fed through, you can go ahead and shrink it and protect this area here where these wires are going to be run out. Then, like I said, if you pulled the stock sheathing off, use another strip down at the bottom to protect this end. And then lastly, what you would do is reinstall the Deutsch connector and make your connection along the backbone. So as you can see, running your lines internally is a much cleaner solution and a much better look than running them the stock way exposed along the outside of the bars. So if you take your time, it's not that hard of a project to do. Very easy to do on a Saturday afternoon. If you're looking for handlebars for your Harley, watch our video on how to measure for handlebars. It's a very easy process to measure. And at Chaparral Motorsports, we have a wide selection of handlebars. You have 3 ways for you to shop. You can call and speak to our knowledgeable sales staff. You can click your way through a great shopping experience at shopmoto.com, or you can come visit us at our 160,000 square foot Motorsports Superstore. As always, thank you for watching and enjoy your ride.